Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women. Welcome to Tune Commander Galpohkpa Chesson talk show. We begin a new week today. Today is February the 23rd. The 23rd day in the second month of the new year. Happy Black History Month 2021. Let me put up my topics. Before I begin my lesson today, I want to take a second or two to pay my deepest respect to the 500,000 lives, 500,000 lives that have been lost in America. President Joe Biden may be having a special occasion today to mark this milestone and to re-encourage us to be strong, united, and conscious as a people and as a nation of our goals, our aspirations, our desires, our hopes for a better future in the United States of America. Let's get into my lesson. God bless Texas and the United States of America. How long shall Liberia and Liberians survive President George Weah's regime? Liberians must sue Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf in the civil courts. Let's get into my lesson. God bless Texas and the United States of America. Before I also begin my lesson, let me tell you all that President Joe Biden's administration had intended to have 6 million doses of vaccine throughout the United States of America before the cold weather we had. That has delayed it, and now that we are under that cold weather system, these doses are being sent out as they were planned. They've delivered 2,000 already. They need to deliver 4,000 more. Correction. I get my thousands and numbers mixed up. They've delivered 2 million already. And they need to deliver 4 million to make up the 6 million that should have been delivered by this week. So now we're on the process. Dr. Fauci has said that the 4 million should be out by the midweek, and we should be on par with the scheduling of delivering these doses as they need to be. Okay? So let's get into my lesson now. We're talking about Texas, and God bless Texas. We see that Texas is thawing out now. They're getting out of this freeze. And right now, they're predicting 50 to 60 degrees, anywhere in there. So life is beginning to slowly come back to normal in Texas. We want to also take a second of silence for the 50 or more lives that have been lost in Texas because of the incompetence, dereliction of duties, and failures of the leaders of Texas. Thank you. So we see Texas is thawing out. Who do we blame for all this kind of thing? This kind of deep freeze and suffering in Texas The last time, I think, was in the 1800s, that the weather went below, the temperature went below zero, in the minuses. So how many years has it been since this thing happened? And there's report that since 2011, people have petitioned the Congress of the state of Texas to do better with the electrical system. We know Texas got majority of the natural gas, majority of the coal. That's why they want to go independent. That's why they don't want to join the federal system. Because the thing everybody need in America is abounding in Texas. But the part about it, these things exist underground. So with all the ground frozen solid, there's no way to extract natural gas or coal from the earth. So unlike us in the north or northwest or northeast or all of that, who have this federal system of power sharing and all these different things that are needed for extreme cold weathers, they don't have it down in Texas. Texas is usually warm during our winter. So they really never had any problem with the cold down there. But this is the second time in Texas history that they're being hit with the freezing cold. So who to blame? I said it. The ineptitude, the dereliction of duties, the lack of vision of the leaders of the state of Texas. I'm not talking about Ted Cruz, who ran away and went to Cancun. He's a loser. But anyway, the whole state dying. Senators can't leave. You got to stay with the people. The people elected you. Millions of your people suffering. Then you jump on the plane and go to Cancun on the beach. Are you crazy? So we see that Ted Cruz is finished. And he better be finished in Texas politics. Because they're the same people who spew on all these evil things. They come back to hunt us, the poor people. Okay? And there are other things besides Texas. So let's look on a greater scale now. We got Cornel West again in the news. Our great professor. Genius kid, man. And he's a tenured professor at Yale. He was once at Harvard, Princeton, the Union. What's it? Hold on, let me see this. I got all of these things down about Cornel West. About he was with the Union something, some religious seminary. Yes, Princeton, Yale, University of Paris. He taught at the University of Paris. He taught at Princeton, Yale, Harvard. What else about Cornell? Yeah, he was the first black graduate with a PhD from Harvard University. First black. This boy is bad. And he graduated top of the class, magna. So this is no dumb American, African American. This is a highly educated man. So I was talking about that seminary that he's taught to. Yeah, he's already been tenured at Yale, Harvard, Princeton, Union Theological Seminary. Yes. Okay. So Cornel West recently applied. First of all, he was tenured and was working at Harvard. A few years ago, they got into some problem with the he got into some problem with the head of the institution, so he left. So after he left, a few years later, Harvard invited him back with a greater position, with more pay and everything. So they call him back. Now this is since he been back a few years now. Cornel West has applied again for tenure at Harvard University, and Harvard has denied it. Why are they denying him at this time? So they're saying that actually they're scared of him. They're scared of his politics, you know, and they're doing all kind of things to keep him away because he's a controversy to them. You know, his politics, his ideals, especially now. So they're scared to give him tenure. So Cornell is threatening to resign and leave the institution again. And these are the excuses they're making not to give him tenure. You know, they say his debate is too radical. In other words, that's what they're trying to say. He's too far on the opposite end that they want him to be. So let's talk about tenure. What is tenure? Because we always hear these people talk about tenure and all these things. When you're a professor in a university, you are given tenure for your academic performance and also because of the recommendation of your peers. So whenever you do things, they look to those two things. What your achievement has been, i.e. in the academic realm. Have you written books? Have you done this? All those things are part of your requirements for tenure. Plus, recommendations from your peers or people who support you for your position. So, they're saying that indirectly Cornel West didn't meet those standards. So, yeah, Cornel West's credentials. He has written 20 books. Cornell has written 20 books. He has edited 13 books. I don't know the situation regarding the recommendation of his peers. That means fellow professors and all that. But we know that Cornell has met a major requirement. So was he denied tenure because his fellow professors felt that he was a highliner? We don't know about that. So that's the other part of the requirements for tenure that we don't know whether Cornell met or not. So Cornell is saying that this is all political. Why would they deny him tenure when he had been given tenure before? He has served the amount of time as a professor, and now he has the qualification for tenure, minus our knowledge of recommendation of his peers. So we don't know about that aspect. So we don't know whether it's that aspect that Harvard is basing its decision on. So Cornell considered this a disrespect to him. And he's considering resigning again from Harvard University. He was on Twitter and other things, other media, presenting his problem and situation and wanting us to understand why he needs to resign, why Harvard University is holding him back. Okay? This man is a genius. He's taught at Yale, Harvard, Princeton, religious institutions, the University of Paris. This boy is bad. He's bad. My only fault with him, when you were talking against Barack Obama and putting all these conditions up that Obama not doing this and Obama not doing that. But he forgets to know that Obama is the first black president we ever had. So he has to preserve the presidency of the United States of America so that other people have the opportunity to excel to that level. Like Kamala Harris now. She ran for for president. She didn't get it, but she got vice president. And that way I thought she was more effective, not as president, because Kamala is young. She needs experience. She needs world interaction. So she needs to be under somebody like Joe Biden, who was my choice for president too. Because he's an upstanding dude, man. You can't deny it. The man stood with Barack Obama for 2 terms because he was sincere. Not only was he sincere, he brought a new dimension to the leadership of America by being vice president to the first African American president of the United States of America. Biden is a great man. You see? But I think he didn't want to run again because of his past failures. He ran for president twice and failed. So, something that discourages you too. And that's why you can't be discouraged, because God's time is the best. And this was the time for Biden. No other time. There's no other president in America that can lead America, not only because of the insurrection, but because we need a leader during this time of diversity. This is the first time our leadership is going through another term of diversity. They've dealt with Barack Obama. You see where they brought us with Mitch McConnell and all the representatives promising that they will make Barack Obama a one-term president. So right there was an indication that the Senate was against him. The Senate wasn't going to work with him. And for 2 terms, Barack Obama had a struggle. And maybe this Cornel West didn't understand. After 400 years of being enslaved, the first president from the Negro race cannot change 400 years of slavery overnight. First of all, we're lucky there was not an insurrection when he became president of America. We're lucky. But white America is very funny. You have to understand white America. They didn't attack Barack Obama because America chose him. America chose Barack Obama. Unlike Kamala Harris, Joe Biden chose Kamala Harris to be his vice president. You see the difference? That's why white people couldn't insult the Capitol under under Barack Obama. 2 terms. All of America voted for Barack Obama. So he was secured as president of America. But Joe Biden wasn't secured because he had the opportunity to change that trajectory from black people being in top American power. He had choices of women to choose from, all qualified, white and black, Hispanic, everybody qualified. Why did he choose a nigger? That's why the assault was on the White House. You see? So you got to understand politics for every realm. When the people do something, nobody else can say anything because public sentiment would be against them. Public opinion would be against them. The law would be against them. But when a man selects somebody else and not the people, that's why they got so mad. Why is Joe Biden bringing a nigger again in the White House? So let's get him out of the White House. He's part of us. He's electing a nigger. Let's get rid of him. So they ransacked the Capitol building with the intention of killing all the white people, all the black people that had supported Joe Biden in selecting Kamala Harris as vice president. And these are the blessings I had for being in America these 30 years. Learning, teaching. Because if we don't build ourselves in this country and understand the mechanisms of American leadership and government, we'll continue to remain slaves. We'll continue to remain blind. We'll continue to have confusion among our leaders because everybody's fighting for power. And that is not the trajectory we should be going and headed towards right now, or headed in, or to some extent. So we have a grave challenge still. In my life, I feel like I've been suppressed by Donald Trump. But I think I'm feeling a little free, but with all this confusion in our country, with the Republicans haven't come to their mind yet and just running behind this crazy QAnon president, Donald Trump, this man who has brought us to this state of 500,000 Americans dying because of his incompetence, negligence, immaturity. You know, you can't bring out that in our leadership, man. Try to take our constitutional leadership away from us. If they had killed any of those senators and representatives, you know what will happen in our country? That will open the door to bloodshed, sharing, probably a civil war. We will just kill each other for nothing. And this is what's so frightening, what's so sad to see repeat in our country again. Okay? So that was Cornel West. I also read this news about Cardinal Sarah at the Vatican, who has resigned, and his resignation has been accepted by the Pope. Cardinal Robert Sarah. It didn't say which country you are from, but usually most of these staunch Catholics are from the East or from the South African region, East and South African region. So I don't know where he came from, which region he comes from, but he's an African. He's a conservative. He believes in the old style religion. Not most of the changes that the Pope has made, Pope Francis. He doesn't agree with it. And he is the head of liturgy for the Catholic Church. And you see, many people support him, the conservatives, and they think that he had a chance to be Pope, the first black Pope in centuries. He had the chance to be Pope. But his confusion with Pope Francis is on homosexual grounds, on trying to relate to Muslims. Now, the church can do what it wants to do with homosexualism. This is a new era. I was even watching Robert Bangura today, a Liberian community member who's a gay. He dresses like gay. And he was teaching Liberian men how to satisfy their women. This is not a discussion for you, but just to show you, everybody makes some kind of contribution. And what you are talking about is a problem a lot of African men suffer. And that creates problems in relationships. And those are some of the things he was talking about. Then relationship with the Muslims. You also saw the Pope kissing the Caliph of the Islam religion. He says that what Jesus is saying to kiss people for love and all of that. I don't know. Jesus didn't kiss no Muslims. Jesus set the way for us as Gentiles to be brought into the household of the God of Israel. That was Jesus' primary mission. I don't know if Jesus came ready for the Gentiles. No, he came to change his people, his people's mentality, his people ideal about the church and leadership in the church, and how it has gone astray, and how it needs to be brought back, but in a different form, with love. With love. Love was not a component of religion. The 10 Commandments were. And there's no law in the 10 Commandments. So that is an indication that our God, though all-knowing, needed to understand human beings more. Because the more the freedom he gave us, the more we began to worship other gods. The Jews began to worship other gods and following other people's gods, like the Palestinians, the other Arab people, following their gods. And that's why he consistently punished the Jewish people. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. That means don't worship no other God. So Jesus Christ came to bring all the understanding of these teachings to us, to enlighten us of the faults of the Christian leadership, just like some of us are doing today, talking against the Catholic Church too, because the Catholic Church perpetuated racism and hatred for 4 centuries now. They have been involved with it. They have enriched themselves over black people, over Africa, just like any other white nation. The Vatican is an enslaver. They don't have slaves, but they perpetuate slavery, racism, and discouraging progress and advancement among Africans. So we have a leadership of deception, a leadership of rogues, even in the cardinal sector, in the Vatican. Everything needs to be reformed. Reform. The Vatican needs to be more consistent with its understanding of its Christian teachings and duties and responsibilities to Christians of all races, of all ethnicity. You can't be preaching Jesus Christ and killing us and misleading us, because there's an upward battle with Christianity. We're still in an upward battle. Yes, we need to have some unification with our Muslim brothers and sisters. But they have to understand they can't challenge our religion. They can't challenge our faith. If they ban us from their country, we don't have to live by that same principle. We are Christians. We are open to all peoples. And that Jesus' teachings. This is the philosophy of religion. My philosophy of religion and understanding the Bible that I've read. And from my legal perspective, I've accepted the teachings and the beliefs of Christians through Jesus Christ. Because the only thing that most people have problems with Jesus is him being immaculate, his birth being immaculate, Mary not having sex at all. So that's the only problem they have. But that's from a human perspective. It's from a human perspective. Jesus Christ challenged the Jewish government. You know why he challenged them so bad? Because when I first read the Bible, and I read of Jesus' trial, I kept asking myself, I said, does Jesus want the people to kill him? Because of the answers he was giving. For a political realm, it was treasonous. He was challenging the system and saying, you people say all of this, you'll prove it. You'll say I'm not the son of God, you'll prove it. And that wasn't the teachings of the Jews. That wasn't the conservative teachings of the Jews. So they killed Jesus because he was bringing a different ideal into society. And that idea challenged power, challenged greed, challenged stealing in the church of God. That's all what Jesus came from. He came from to reveal the stealing and why he is the Son of God. And why they killed Jesus like that. As I got more into my Christian faith, I understood why Jesus responded to those Pharisees and Sadducees as he did. It wasn't because he was against the church. It wasn't that. Because if you read your Bible in the New Testament, you know that from a child at 12 years old, Jesus sat in the temples with the Sadducees and the Pharisees and the elders of the church and discussed the Bible in detail with them. They themselves were amazed by his knowledge and wisdom of the biblical teachings, the Word of God. So, when Jesus came back after 32 years of being missing, who do you think were in power now? Some of the same children of those Pharisees and Sadducees. They were the children of them. And some of them had sat in the synagogue as children of the Levites, of the leadership or whatever it is, and listened to Jesus' arguments from 12 years old. Because the Jewish don't start training their priests and leaders at 10, 12. No, they start at very early ages. So there were kids in that environment who, when Jesus came back after 32 years, had assumed the rank of Pharisees and Sadducees. So they had heard of Jesus' teaching from the age of 12. So these were the same people in power. And they knew who Jesus was. They knew that their fathers had sat in the temples of Jesus with Jesus at a 12 years old boy. And he had amazed the whole nation. Not only the Pharisees and the Sadducees, the whole Jewish nation with his brilliance and knowledge and wisdom of the Torah. So, killing Jesus was no accident. Jesus speaking like that was no reason to kill him. Because just as he had sat with their fathers, he was sitting with them now, telling them they're doing wrong, telling them they're stealing, telling them they had turned the temple of God into a marketplace, a den of thieves. Everywhere you have marketing, you got thieves. Everywhere you have public activity, you got thieves. But the thieves can also be leaders. Any organization, the thieves can be the leaders. So this is where we stick with our Christianity. Because based on Christianity, we have slavery of black people for 400 years. Perpetuated it. Telling us about Jesus Christ and using the same Jesus Christ to pacify us. To tell us Jesus is peaceful. He's a little lamb. He doesn't cause no violence. He's so peaceful. You can eat him like a piece of cake. And that's not the Jesus I know. That's not the Jesus I read about. The Jesus I read about flock people. Flock ignorant people. Flock useless people. Flock rogues and criminals. And you expect me to stop? I'm a student of the Bible. I am a Christian teacher. I didn't have to go to Harvard and Yale and all the things. Divine enlightenment. When you knock, it shall open. When you ask, you shall receive. When you seek, there's no reason why you can't find. Okay? So you don't have to go deep into religion to learn about Jesus Christ. You don't have to be a genius to understand creation, which God you want to follow. And you see, there are so many different gods in the world. The Muslims got their Allah. The other religions, our African people, got their Manyanamu and different kind of gods. They are all not Christian gods. They are traditional African gods. So there are many gods. And when you choose, you got to be sincere how to choose. You got to be sincere how to choose. You can't choose your God, then go serve Jesus Christ. You can't do that. That's serving two gods. Jesus will never answer our prayers. And this is why our country has deteriorated so much. We call ourselves a Christian nation, and we continue to disobey and go astray from the teachings of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ said, in all thy ways, and not acknowledge me. Don't put no God before me. Yes, we know you're living in a sinful world. Jesus and God has condemned our world to the rule of Satan. Why you think Donald Trump has displayed America so much that our whole world is almost destroyed because of this one man? There are other gods. Gods who will deceive Christians. Christians who will deceive Christians because of wealth, because of greed, because of power and money. And this is where Christianity in America has been, the underbelly of God's people. So until this racism, until this slavery, until the useless, incompetent leadership of our country, who are racist and race supremacists and evil men and women against the teachings of Jesus Christ, our country can't come together. Jesus doesn't like ugly. I'm done. Let me go to my second lesson. My poor Liberian people. Can George Weah save us? Let me take out my American lesson, separate it from my Liberian lesson. Okay. My Liberian people, surviving George Weah regime. We know for the past 3 years, going on to 4 years now, this regime has been nothing but rogues. This regime has been nothing but divisive. The tribal, the Congo, the native, all the things still going on. And that's why I blast my native people. Because if you can follow this man, no matter what kind of star he is to us, but this man ain't come home to rip our country off. And the people using him, McGill, Twe, Koji, and all these other people, are numbskulls. They are killers and ignoramuses. This is my love cup. Lots of love, lots of love, lots of love, okay? But this is what happened. We got the same criminals in our government. Nothing changed in our country. We came straight from 14 years of war, straight into criminal leadership, nepotism, corruption, everything. We never changed. Ellen didn't do nothing for Liberia. Ellen didn't do one thing for Liberia. So don't be fooled and your Liberian people praising the useless woman Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf. Let the white people give her the Nobel Peace Prize. She's serving their interests. She's not serving our interests. Her children robbing our country. They killed our fathers in 1980 because of nepotism. Then you expect me not to curse the native people? You expect me not to call your country and dumb? The same reason this woman killed our fathers and destroyed our first republic came back and brought war laws under Charles Taylor. Ellen Johnson was part of Charles Taylor. She was part of Charles Taylor regime. But Charles Taylor then knew that this woman was a criminal. After he and Ben and I, you sat down and evaluated it, they said, no, this woman can't be leader. You be the leader, Charlie. This woman is a fraud, a scam, a jigabug. So that's why they took the leadership away from Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf. Then she started to break them up into factions. Yulumo K, Yulumo R, Yulumo D. So we have all these warlords breaking away from Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf's main group that is now headed by Charles Taylor and forming other groups to fight Charles Taylor. But when you don't understand your own political lives, you don't understand who your leaders are. You come here with native and Congo thing you never knew. I hear all the people, oh, y'all want to be the Congo people or the people that raised in their houses. If we don't come home to Liberia, you think you will rise? You ain't rising nowhere. Because the people in Liberia don't know how to help you. Feces running through our country. Our country is a dump site of Africa. Then you expect Ebola not to come among us? Guinea, Sierra Leone, Ivory Coast, all are the same thing. Sierra Leone, all of us the same thing. Oh. I don't know. I've been to the last time I was in Ivory Coast was when I was in Liberia in law school. I wanted to play rugby. And that was a beautiful country. It was run by the French. Houphouët Boigny was a Frenchman. He wasn't African. You see, so that's why he stayed there so long and he ruled so long. Because under the French system, they used to practice assimilation, making African Frenchmen. They believed that French culture was pure. So the first 4 or 5 colonies, I think there were 4 colonies, the French people captured in Africa, Senegal, Ivory Coast, I don't know about Guinea. They raised all those people to be French citizens, to think like French, to act like French, to be in the French government, to serve in the French government. That's why Houphouët Boigny was Minister of Interior for France because of assimilation. But they found out that assimilation was expensive. Because when you're assimilating people to be like French people, you not concentrating on the resources in the country. on exploiting it. You want to make them like you to get sound mind, to be lily white thinking and all of that so you can share the wealth. But the Africans, the more they got well educated, they say, no, we're not sharing this thing. People that say kulture say, man, all the thing you're going talking to Hufe Bonny. And Hufe Bonny, he won't be fresh minister. I'm an African. So you carry the bread and butter to, you carry the good things to Hufe Bonny, and we will live on our cassava and yam and every other thing. So the French people got pissed off. Yeah, it's one nigger acting up. So all the things discourage assimilation. The British had indirect rule. They ruled through our king and corrupted our nations. Because when the king said something, nobody could go against the king. So they bribed the king, made him rich, do everything for him, and let him govern his tribe and submit them to enslavement, submit them to everything, submit their resources to the white. So that what happened in Africa. So when people came to change all of those things, Liberia was among them. We were the first. In 1822, we came with democracy. We came with taking the chiefs out of the show. No one-man show. This is a democratic nation, a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And that's how it's going to be. So this is why we have come down today to the Liberia we have today. We are the only people that were never colonized. So we had to fight the tribes who chiefs were loyalists of the foreigners. Bob Gray, all the kind of chiefs them. We had to take care of some of them. Because democracy cannot exist with monarchy. Donald Trump cannot be president of America and want to make us socialists. You see how the world is so confused now? 23 or more million people in the world have died. Where are we going? We're not going nowhere because our leaders are going back to the old standard of trying to be chiefs, of trying to be dictators, of trying to say they are the voices of all Liberian people. Not when they're dumb like George Weah them. Not when they're incompetent like George Weah them. Not when they are rogues like George Weah them. How will rogues bring our country back? How will criminals and warlords bring Liberia back? I want to know this thing. So here we are now. Little boy Jerome, I think that was his name, right? Who his parents starved to death recently. Tim Sonnyboy say his trial will be this morning. Today, the mom and parents going to court to explain to the court why they starved that little boy. Why they took his human right and dignity from him. Why they treated him like an un-Liberian. That's un-Liberian treatment. What George Weah doing to us is not Liberian. It's foreign. Even Tottenham was better. Tauber was the best. So we took all of that and gave it to Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf, the dumb woman. Then she put her children go get false Nobel Peace Prize from the white people to deceive us when we know she was the warlord. When we know she started the war. But all my people won't be blind to the fact and say Ellen Johnson was so great. If she was so great, why she gave her country to George Weah? Why she didn't just leave the thing with Boca? Because no matter what Boca did, I know the same tribalism were going to be under Boca. I know the Lofa people were going to say that time, and try to pack our offices up with Lofa people. Because that's the way our country been going since 1980. All the tribes dividing our government agencies up for their useless selves. And they're scared for me to talk this thing. Where in democracy you see people dividing the ministry and agency among tribes? And y'all say we civilize people? Y'all say there's a leadership for us? I don't care whether it's Congo or country. It's Liberian to me. And when you people play the fools, you need to have your asses kicked. I don't care whether you're Congo. I don't care whether you're native. I will treat you all the same damn way because you're taking my property. You're taking my money. You're taking my right to come home in my country and live like a civilized, decent human being. You got these ragamuffins running around like people, the dogs and just useless people. And then they're blocking us from Facebook because Mark Zuckerberg is a dummy. They're blocking us from social media because Mark Zuckerberg is a dummy. Now look at the Liberian, you go on Liberian web and Facebook pages. Nothing but love, sex, rudeness, Prophet Key people. I'm coming to talk about him too. And all these kind of people. So our civilized society is there. You see the same women, Prophet Key that cuss their vagina and things like that, they're wearing Prophet Key show on their shirts. So he said it's not against the Constitution. We'll talk about that. Okay? So they're blocking all of us who's speaking reality, who's speaking in depth about our country, who want changes now, not in 2023. Now. We got to make these people resign or impeach them or do something to let them know they are incompetent. George Weah needs to resign. George Weah needs to be impeached. He needs to leave this government now, not 2023. How many Liberian people will die? How many Liberian girls and children will be raped? How many people will our people kill with impunity because of George Weah, Sam Twe, Nathaniel McGill, and Jefferson Koji? 4 useless dumb men. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine our country in the hands of slum dwellers, kitchen rogues, and Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf butt boys? Can you imagine that? So yeah, we go again with the struggle. Then we got a police director who is involved in the rape, who are involved in the malicious sex and their practices and demon existence in Liberia. Our own police chief. So where will Liberia go? You got the police chief, a raper, sleeping with all his policemen women, fraternizing with the men and the women. What kind of law and order can we have in Liberia under this President George Weah? His government is made up of nothing but rapists, criminals, deadbeats, useless people, and damn incompetence. So now let's get into Prophet Key. It is against the public policy of Liberia for Prophet Key to insult any government official, mother's vagina, sister's vagina, or family vagina. If I were in Liberia, I would haul him back from Morocco straight to South Beach and let him talk shit in Morocco because they got a damn useless government in Liberia. The government is criminal and useless and wicked. So Prophet Key is expressing his anger and frustration with profanity. Nowhere in the Jewish Torah do the Jewish people insult their people like that. Nowhere in Jewish tradition is there any teaching in the Bible that Jewish God is a nasty, dirty God. So when you teaching from a Jewish perspective and say you're a Jew, you this and that, then you come here and you insult our women and disrespect them, and the same dumb, useless street women wearing Prophet Key show all on their shirt, coming talking about they would die for Prophet Key, they're supporting him and all that kind of. You people deserve no respect. You deserve no love. And I can't change your mentality, so I just sit down and listen to Prophet Key too. Because he bringing information with the cussing. So you can deal with the cussing that all the women want cussing. Oh, you cuss this, you cuss that. Those are loose women. Those women from the streets in Liberia, they're from the streets. And when we go back home, those same kind of women will be in the streets again. Because any woman who come here and talk those kind of things on live TV, video, and Facebook, and tell us they love this man because he's that kind of way, there's a mental problem with these useless women. I go on Facebook. We're on Facebook now. Mike Zuckerberg has also African pastors, Liberian pastors. Well, our society can become a damn pastor society. Everybody useless talking about Jesus Christ, and y'all can't prove it because you're damn useless. Y'all can't get rid of criminality and false preachers, and you're calling them your God. Now you got this other man calling himself a Jew. You ever hear Jewish people use that kind of language? You people are just dumb, wayward, and the whole damn Liberian society needs to be overhauled. We have lost respect. Women have lost respect for themselves. If you have no respect for yourself, you expect for me to respect you? You come here and follow Prophet Key? And Henry Casa was right. Because he had joined this kind of thing and go on Prophet Key show for interview and all of that. I would have messed with him. That why Stanton Peabody, Stanton Weatherspoon, Spoon TV, with his team, Dr. Patrick, you know what his name, and Keith, and what the other one name? Sanvi. All the boys get on the show and invite Prophet Key on the show, and Prophet Key disgrace them because they don't know the law. Prophet Key demonstrated that he knew more than these guys on the philosophical point. Prophet Key not stupid. And yet these big men, they're asking him why he cussing or that. He said, oh, is anything against in the Constitution? Those dummies don't even know the Constitution. Those dummies don't invite people who can discuss issue with them. They invite all the little useless little boys around here. They know nothing about our Constitution. They know nothing about the equality of Liberian leadership. Then they just talk a lot of stupid things. You think if you teaching our people, you bring a useless man on the program like that, and you got nobody who know the Constitution, and you know Prophet Key always backing his lessons on the Constitution of Liberia, then you invite the man on. This man who is not even a high school graduate, he comes on and demeans all these college graduates and leaders of Liberian parties. He disgraces them with his philosophical knowledge, challenged them with the law, and the dummies kept quiet and said, okay, Prophet Key, just be careful, goodbye. That's why I had to go there. And right there, I say, yes, it's against the law. It's unconstitutional. But y'all listen to your people. Y'all don't want educated Liberians to teach you. So y'all gotta go on your own, man, until you come to your senses. Y'all listen to all these useless women and all the number of pastors and dumb, foolish people coming up, say they're religious leaders, and they're talking all these rude things, talking about people's relationships, and basing Liberian relationship on Christian principles. What about the Muslim? What about the enemies? We have different religious sects in our society. So we have to understand how to present our thing. Majority of our people like 2, 3 women, 4 women, because that is tradition. So if they can't marry them, and they see the other people in the family marrying 4, 5 women and say they're not going to Christianity, they're not African religion, so they can be Christian and practice their African religion, you must be dumb. That's not how Jesus Christ works. Okay? Now the next thing, Brownie Samoga. This Brownie Samoga issue is a very sensitive issue. Brownie Samoga is guilty. There is no doubt about it. There's no problem with Lofians raising money to keep him out of jail. But what should Lofians should always do? Also do? Sue Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf. Sue her for negligence. Because the state will not charge her with criminal actions. No, because only the state can bring criminal action. And you know they will not bring. George Weah has already committed himself to protecting Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf and her family. He will not do anything to hide Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf. So all her criminality, all her uselessness, all her wicked, traitorous ways, all her warlord arguments and killing, professional death records she got for killing 253,000 Liberian people, and she won't pin it on Charles Taylor alone. You're a dummy. All of you are dummy. Because this is a woman that started the war with Charles Taylor. And I've told you over and over how she tried to recruit me. And they tried to put me in that thing by force. Going to Liberia, telling George Weah that I in the bush with Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf and Charles Taylor, making them almost kill all my friends. Go to my mom's house, wanting my address and everything, knowing where I want to do, where I am, and all of that. What useless thing is that? From that thing alone, you think I will follow Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf down the road? Or even to the toilet? Or even to look over the river? Ellen Johnson will push me in. Then say I slipped and fell. You don't know they got evil, wicked women in the world just like men. And Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf is one of them. She's an evil, wicked woman. And we need to punish her. So, Lofians, when you pay your money, you better bring a civil suit against this woman. You got to bring a civil suit for your money back. The money you raised to pay because of Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf corruption and negligence, that negligence. She neglected us. She neglected our soldiers. She neglected everything that was Liberian and for Liberian people. And she joined Brownie Samoga, forced him to do her bidding. And he did it. And he's guilty. He's guilty. But he is not alone. He and Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf guilty. And you see how they take the blame of her Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf and put it on her Brownie Samoga alone. This is injustice. This is what we're talking about. Why would you put Brownie Samoga in jail and leave Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf out? Why would you want Brownie Samoga to pay $1 million+ back or half of it in 6 months and forget about Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf, who made him do it? Who was his commander-in-chief? Yes. He could have said no. He could have bucked the system. But he was a good servant. He was a loyal servant. So he got to be responsible for the corruption of Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf. But you can't get away with it. Okay? So these are my topics for the day. So, in my last topic on this point, it's all these foreign killers George we are bringing in Liberia. For people to shoot our EPS officer in the head 3 times, that's no suicide. Even you shoot yourself 2 times. How you shoot yourself? You shoot yourself in the brain, you now blow up all your thinking faculties. So what sense you will have again to press the trigger 2 more times? In a matter of your hair going back or anything, when that gun goes through your hair 1 time, it splatters your whole brain. So what thinking faculty you have to press the trigger 2 more times? You ain't got no thinking faculty. You're dead. So that is a murder offense. That is a murder. You don't got to worry about people choking their head back and falling. No, you shoot your head, it blows your brain. One bullet. So if your brain is blow over one bullet, what consciousness you would have to press the trigger 2 more times? You wouldn't. And this is deception and lies and common killing going on in Liberia now, because George Weah has brought foreigners to kill our people. Let me get on my last topic. I got to get on it. Liberian people, y'all need to sue Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf. Class actions like the Lofians, y'all sue Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf in a class action. Sue her for negligence. Sue her for wrongful deaths. Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf responsible for all the people that died in Liberia, and she got to pay for it. So if we can't get her through the law, if y'all don't want to get rid of George Weah, and Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf needs to be punished, we know George Weah, they ain't going to free Ellen, they ain't going to punish her. So y'all get together and sue Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf in the civil court of Liberia. Y'all got interest in the case. Your relatives died. Your relatives got Ebola. Your relatives got robbed under Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf. She put her children in power. She neglected her responsibility to the Liberian people. All the people that died, they were wrongfully killed because of Ellen and Charles Taylor. So you need to sue these people. Let Ellen know that there's a law in our country, and it doesn't have to be criminal law all the time. We can go the social way too. And let hear what those damn judges will say in Liberia. My class is done. Have a good day, my people. God bless Liberia and Liberian people. Bye-bye.